Morning, everyone. I know many people have already made comment on the current situation that we see around the United States and in the United Kingdom and the rest of the world with the protests and the reaction to the unlawful killing of George Floyd. But it has, I think, caused us all to stop and think about not only racism and how that is ingrained in society and how it is so prevalent even where we thought potentially it had been defeated in the past with the civil rights movement and those kind of things. It's still very evidently an issue in society along with many other injustices. And I don't know about you, but sometimes I look at these things and I think, how can I make a difference? How can I make a change? What could I do to bring justice into this kind of situation? And I'm sure many of us already know the story of the feeding of the 5,000 and already know the takeaway points that as we give our little to God, He is able to multiply it and bring great blessing through it. And I wanted to share, I think, a few examples of little things like that, because it was only 18 months ago or so that we took on a franchise with Hope into Action. And here I am standing in the kitchen of our first home. We've managed to buy this property through investors. We've managed to raise funds to fully furnish it and kit it out through the generosity of people like yourselves who've given things to help turn this house into a home. And for me, it all started with a heart to think, how can we make a difference as a church for those that are homeless, those that are marginalised and on the fringes of society? And I looked at the issue and I thought, well, housing is clearly a key need in our city. There's a gap for it. And I thought, well, how are we going to end up with enough funds to buy houses? And I felt God prompt me to give the little I had. And so I started giving a small amount regularly each month towards making Hope into Action Southampton a reality. And within a few weeks of beginning that, God multiplied that little that I'd been able to put in. And suddenly we had enough investors to buy our first house. It's been a bit of a battle to get here. Lockdown nearly finished us off with preventing the final bit of refurb and furnishing, but we managed to get it done. And this week as well, we've put an offer in on a second house and had that accepted, and are beginning to move forward on a second purchase. I was able to offer my little 5 loaves and 2 fish and see God multiply it. My little amount of money has become an investment of hundreds of thousands of pounds, with the possibility of more yet to come. But this isn't just the story of Hope into Action for us in Southampton. We've seen it happen with our work for the refugees through Clear. We, many years ago, were becoming a dispersal centre as a city, refugees coming into or asylum seekers coming into the country being dispersed down to Southampton. What could we do as a church to respond to those who've had to flee their homelands? And actually, we took a small step of faith and took some money that was offered to us and began a project which several years later has now multiplied and is touching thousands of lives every single year. Or we think of Amber reaching out to those in the sex industry. They've got their offering this month, so please give generously towards that. You can find the videos on Facebook and Instagram and the details of how to donate. But these little things that we've taken steps in as God has led us have been multiplied. He is faithful to be able to do that. And I want to encourage us that when we see things like racism, when we see things in society that look too big for us, let's take those small steps of faith and offer the little bits that we have and see God multiply them. Sometimes we look at those things and think, I don't even know what my little thing is that I have to offer. And over the last week or so in the Bible in 1 year, Nicky Gumbel talked about how kindness is love in work clothes. He talks about how kindness is effectively love in action. And when we operate in kindness, it builds communities, it restores relationships, it gives hope to people. I want to encourage us today that even if we feel we have very little to offer, what we can all offer is kindness. As we offer a word of kindness, a smile, something to help somebody else, it brings transformation. It releases people into hope and joy. It builds community and it establishes the kingdom. Kindness is one of those fruits of the Spirit, and as we operate in kindness, let's be expectant that the Spirit will move in and through us to great effect, that God will multiply our small act of kindness, and we will see it multiplied for His benefit and His glory. So today, maybe think about some random acts of kindness that you could commit with your neighbours, take your family, and see who you can bless today. And as you do so, be praying that the Spirit will be active and will multiply the little you offer to bring big societal transformation around us. The little we offer is multiplied by God because He is able and He is faithful. There is nothing we need to look at in this world and think it cannot be done. Our God is the God of the impossible, and He uses us and our faith as we step into action, as we put work clothes on love and act in kindness towards those who need it. So be blessed today, go be kind to people, allow the Spirit to move through you, and I'd love to hear stories of how God multiplies the little that we do as a church into some great things, some testimonies for His glory. Have a great day. God bless.